Hey everyone, LittleMoeGaming here. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of Little Mo Gaming at Lunch. I believe this is episode 21. Yeah, crazy to think I have done 20 episodes of this series so far, and it's been great. I mean, it's been wonderful. I really enjoy taking a moment to just sit down and just like what's the word I'm looking for? Like throw out my thoughts that I'm having for anything gaming related or even life related. It's been really nice, and I really appreciate everybody who has been watching this series. To all of you out there, my friends and family, and for those of you who I don't know, I've seen some people sub to the channel. Really appreciate you being around, and I hope that you are enjoying this content. I definitely want to try to make more variety. My plan is that this weekend I'm going to be filming a video where you'll be seeing my face. I really enjoy making those videos. Just it does take some time to edit, and with my work schedule, it's really tough to fit that in. So I will be working on that this weekend. I'm going to be talking about games that I dream of playing, but I will leave that for that video as far as what that means and what I'll be talking about. So look out for that. But without further ado, boy, it's been a hot day. It's like 97 degrees now, but most of the day was triple digits. Working out here in Pueblo, Colorado. But I am commuting back to Colorado Springs. I'm actually on my way now, but I did stop to park so I can record this video real quick because I like to be able to talk about this stuff when I'm just chilling and not really focusing on something else like driving or anything like that. So it's really nice to be able to just like really hone in on my thoughts here, talk about what I want to talk about. And for today, I want to talk about console exclusivity. So I mentioned last week that I was going to talk about it in its own video, and there has actually been some pretty big news since my last video in regards to console exclusivity, and kind of helped to steer the direction of where I'm going to be going with my thoughts. So last week I was talking about Nintendo and how they are very exclusive in the sense that we will probably never see their games come to, legally come to another console, right? I say legally because, of course, there's emulations and, I've seen different ways. I think when I was a kid, I visited Syria. It was one summer we went to Syria, and I always loved buying bootleg movies and video games, like PC discs with video games and stuff. So many games I bought and movies that I bought that were bootleg, but that was like back then it was super cool. Like you just go shop around. They had this I remember there was this shopping center in Damascus that was well known for bootleg movies and electronics and all that kind of stuff. So I had bought this game for PS2 that had it was a compilation of all the different Mario games that existed at the time. It had everything from Super Mario Brothers 1 to the Lost Levels, and I think even some of Super Mario RPG might have been on there, because I remember seeing a lot of obscure Mario titles that I had no idea about, seeing them on there. And I remember that was a game that my brothers and I spent a lot of time playing on the PS2 back in the day. Of course, that disc is long gone by now. I'm actually wondering if I sold it with my PS2, because I sold my PS2 on eBay along with whatever physical games I had for it at the time. And I think I might have actually sold it with the PS2 now that I think about it. Maybe even put it in the description, this is a game that comes with all the Mario games or whatever. Nintendo, don't sue me. Look, I was just a kid. I don't know. Maybe that or the disc got ruined. But anyways, that was the one time I was able to see like Mario on the PlayStation, right? And that was super cool. I remember even a friend of mine was telling me like, hey, if you go back to Syria next year, and you can see if they have Halo for PlayStation, which I'm sure they did, and they had all these different like Grand Theft Auto like modded editions and all that. But all that being said, right, Nintendo is never going to bring their games to other consoles. I truly don't believe that they will, and I think that it's in their best interest to not bring their games to other consoles, right? I think it's great that Nintendo is like its own thing, and I really like the idea that if I want to play a game with Donkey Kong in it, I have to have a Nintendo console. I just think that if Nintendo brought their games to other consoles or like to PC and Xbox and PlayStation, I don't think that there would be a reason to buy a Nintendo console anymore. Case in point, right? A lot of the third-party games that release for both PS5 and Switch, I've gotten to a point where I'm buying them on PS5 over Switch every day or all day because one, it's going to perform better. Two, it's going to look better. And I just like the idea of having it on PlayStation personally, although I do also like the idea of having it like on Nintendo, like having that cartridge and being able to, like hold a physical cartridge and pop it into my Switch. I really like that idea. And I think that there are definitely some third-party games that are worth buying on Switch, but for the most part, I'm buying the PS5 version. And I think if Nintendo first-party games came to PlayStation, like Donkey Kong Bonanza, right? I'm sure it looks and performs absolutely fantastic on the Nintendo Switch too. But you bring in a PlayStation 5 port of the game, I mean, the sky's the limit on how that game is going to look and how it's going to perform, right? I mean, it's probably going to be like way, way, way better. So, yeah, I think it's important that Nintendo retains its exclusivity, and that it doesn't, bring its games to other hardware. Of course, if it does, it does, right? But I don't think it'll happen. I really, truly believe that, any and all reason to buy a Nintendo would go away if they brought their games to, say, PC or they brought it to PlayStation or anything like that. I just don't think that there would be a reason to buy a Nintendo anymore. And on another note, we got news that Sony is hiring right now for people that can work on multi-platform situations, something like that. If you want to read the whole thing, just look up Sony multi-platform, and I'm sure you'll find an article. But I like briefly read something about that. That apparently they're hiring for people to work on multi-platform things, and so it's a big indicator that I think Sony is going to start going multi-platform, like officially, with their first-party titles. Now they've already done that, right? I mean, you can play God of War, you can play Death Stranding on PC. I think The Last of Us is available on PC, and Horizon Zero Dawn. So there are a lot of like Sony first parties that have been brought to PC already. But it'd be interesting to see if they going to only bring them to PC, or are they going to start bringing things to? Are they going to start bringing, their like multi-plat games to Xbox, right? Like, are they going to start bringing their first party games to Xbox? I think it'll be interesting to see. And how do I feel about this? Well, I think it's a good thing. I do like I do like the exclusivity piece, right? Like, I like knowing that, there are certain games that my PS5 is going to play that other consoles won't be able to play. But at the same time, like, I just don't see the point in like gatekeeping it and not letting other people experience it, because it's also money on the table, right? And maybe it's going to be best that, these games are able to be purchased on other platforms, for these developers to make more money and then be able to like make better games and stuff, like make more games and better games and all that kind of stuff. So it actually is probably good for the industry. I will be honest, and it's cool to see that. I mean, it's awesome that Xbox is bringing their games to PlayStation. I think the fact that we can play Forza Horizon and Gears of War on PlayStation is great, and inevitably we're going to get Halo, right? I mean, with this, we're inevitably going to get Halo. We're going to get Starfield. All that stuff is going to happen. So I think that I think it's pretty cool that we're seeing this kind of stuff happen now. So, all that being said, yeah, exclusivity seems for the most part to be drifting away, and I think that's okay. I think it's great that it's great for the industry. We're going to start seeing a lot more games available for different consoles, and allow us to have more experiences that we didn't think we could. Like, the only reason I haven't played Starfield yet is because it's an Xbox exclusive. I am itching to play Halo, and I can't because I don't have an Xbox or a PC to play it on. And I'm sure there's people who feel the same way about games like Death Stranding 2 or Uncharted or The Last of Us. Like, if you just have an Xbox and you don't have a PC, how are you going to play those games, right? Even if they are available on PC, you're not going to be able to. So I do think it's a great thing. It's interesting, that we've gotten to this point. And I think it'll be interesting to see if Nintendo follows suit and starts to bring their games to PlayStation and Xbox and PC. Although I really doubt that they will, because I truly believe that the incentive to buy a Nintendo is for the exclusive first party games that you can't play anywhere else. That is it. Like, that is the incentive to buy a Nintendo. And if you lose that incentive, then Nintendo would stop selling consoles, or they wouldn't stop selling. Like, I'm sure people will still buy it, but it's like, at that point, like, why would I buy a Nintendo Switch if I could buy a Steam Deck, right? Or the Xbox handheld, or some other PC handheld? Or why would I buy a Nintendo Switch if I could just buy a PlayStation and be able to play everything there? PlayStation games, Xbox games, Nintendo games, and probably have the best experience that you can have on an actual console at PlayStation, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Xbox will release the most powerful console, soon, and that'll be the best place to play. But I don't know. I mean, with the way, I still think PlayStation is just going to be a better ecosystem in general. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot changing in the industry, and exclusivity is, becoming a thing of the past for the most part, and we'll see where it goes from here. Hope you enjoyed this video. I've been showing you some Death Stranding footage as well as some Stellar Blade. I probably sprinkled in a couple other things if I was able to. But yeah, let me know what you think in regards to console exclusivity and how you feel about all this. And as always, take care.